Verhelaxal. I am Skegivetter, and welcome to the Norse Code. It is great to be able to start filming these outside again. I'm currently out here turkey hunting, and just this location allows me to connect with the gods in a way that made me want to record this and kind of talk to you about connecting with the gods. Before we get into that, I do want to apologize for how long it's been since I've put out an episode. April turned out to be an incredibly busy month for me, primarily because we had our paranormal challenge with Get Haunted down at the old hospital on College Hill in Williamson, West Virginia. It was essentially a paranormal game show. It was a lot of fun. If you are interested in the paranormal at all, I highly recommend you go check it out. I'll put a link to the video down in the description. It is kind of long, like 7 hours, but if you take it in chunks, it's well worth the watch. So, connecting with the gods. There's been a few things that kind of has led to this episode. Recording today is just because of where I am. This is an amazing piece of property. There is a large rock that I've always felt a connection with. There's something about that rock. There's something there. I think it's the center point for where the forest spirits kind of reside, at least for this area. I like to go there to meditate and kind of connect with the gods. In fact, I wanted to film it there, but there's a lot of traffic on the road and it was just way too loud. So I came a little bit deeper into the forest. But that's why I'm filming now. But there's two things that kind of led to wanting to do this, because originally I was going to do this episode as the story of how Thor got his hammer. That is coming up this month, but I was riding my motorcycle and just connected with the gods in a very profound way. And shortly afterwards, I was having a discussion with a friend of mine who is relatively new to this stuff, and he was asking, how do you connect with the gods? He was saying that he was doing some, Googling, trying to find out what he can do to connect, and he was doing everything, but he didn't feel that connection. So I asked him, well, what kind of things are you doing? What was the advice you got? And he told me, to connect with Odin, to write poetry, to learn, to have knowledge, to connect with Thor would be to do something like work out and build strength, and I said that's not connecting with the gods. That's honoring them, but it's not connecting. And so between my connection and his misinformation that he got, I felt like this was a video that needed to be done, because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who want to connect with the gods but just can't, or they don't know how. And I did do some Googling of my own just to see what would come up, and sure enough, everything I got on connecting with the gods was different ways to honor them. And there's a big difference between connecting with the gods and honoring the gods. You should do both. 100% you should do both, especially the honoring. You're never going to connect if you don't honor them. But it's a different thing. Like I said, if you want to honor Odin, you can write poetry, or you can learn, or you can work with ravens and wolves, or anything else that has a connection to Odin. It's a way to honor him. It's a way to try to build a relationship, but it's not connecting. Thor, go work out, get into blacksmithing, so those are ways to honor Thor, but it's not connecting. Scotty, taking a walk through the woods in the winter, working with wolves, taking up archery or hunting. Great ways to honor her. It's not connecting. Connecting is something that's, hits you right in your spiritual center, your soul. It's way, way more. And when it happens, you recognize it as, whoa, this is different. So I was riding my motorcycle. It was the first time I got it out this year. And it was beautiful sunny day. There's maybe an hour or two left of sunlight. So it was, the sun was low in the horizon, so everything had that nice golden hue to it. I'm riding around, enjoying the wind and the smells and the feeling of being on the road, the freedom that comes with it. And that's when I connected. I suddenly felt the gods around me. I can feel their presence, not just around me, but in nature, in the trees, in the wind, in the water, and in the road itself. Like, it was ever present. It's actually a very difficult thing to describe. I've been racking my brain for a little while now on how to describe it, and it's not easy. It really isn't. It's such an ineffable thing. But, if you're religious at all, regardless of what your faith is, when you connect, you know it. I know when I was younger and going to church, I would feel it in church oftentimes, especially when things got a little bit quieter, or if there's just music going. I could just kind of feel God's presence. Coming out into the woods for hiking, fishing, hunting, that's where I felt most connected, and still do. So how do you connect? Well, that's going to be a little bit different for every person. For me, I have to hit that point of inner peace. Oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes I need to be in nature. That's a great place to connect, honestly, is you find a plot of land like this, you go hiking, you go hunting, fishing, whatever it is, and you find a relatively quiet spot, peaceful. If it's a beautiful spot, that's all the better. And for those watching this on YouTube, I'm going to throw a picture up that I took today of this area, which is gorgeous. And if you can do it by water, doing it by water helps. Especially like a stream or river, that trickling of water sound, it kind of helps put you into a somewhat meditative state, and you just kind of open up. You let yourself become more than your body. So I firmly believe that there are multiple aspects to ourselves. There's your physical body, and then your soul's a more spiritual part, which a lot of people keep confined to within their body. And if you can open that up and extend your spiritual self beyond your body, then you could start connecting with other spiritual things, spiritual entities. It's a lot how mediums work. I use it with my ghost hunting to try to connect with spirits when I'm ghost hunting. If you're going to use a spirit board or something, essentially that's what you're doing. So you just need to do it while you're out in nature, while you're out someplace that reminds you of the gods, and hopefully you connect with them. Maybe you don't. Maybe you'll connect with a forest spirit, a nature spirit of some sort. Maybe you'll connect with the fae. Maybe you'll just connect with the spirit of, some other animal out here. But maybe you'll connect with the gods. And I really wish I could describe the feeling better or how to do it better, but you just got to reach out, like spiritually reach out. And if you have honored them, if you work with them, they may reach back. And when your spiritual segments touch, the clarity and the peace that you feel is unmatched. It really is unmatched. There's nothing better. And when you do that, like I said, you might not connect with God. You might connect with other things. You might connect with the elements themselves. So I'll tell you a little story of something that happened to me last year. This happened over the course of about 2 months. Different, the same stretch of road, but different times of day, different circumstances. Sometimes I was in my truck. Sometimes I was in my motorcycle. But I know the one day it was earlier in the day and riding up over the crest of a hill, and as I come up towards the top, the sun's just beating down on me, because I came over the top, so the sun was just above the trees there, and I got hit with those sunbeams. Not the first time I've been hit with sunbeams that day or since, but for whatever reason at that point I connected, and I felt like I was blessed, like the heat of the sun was blessing me. And I kind of took it more so as it was fire, the element of fire. Same stretch of road. I was on my motorcycle, and this was a little bit later in the day. I don't know if I was just out for a ride or going somewhere, but gust of wind came. Now, if you ever ride a motorcycle or even just drive with your windows down, there's a lot of wind that you feel. Well, there was something different about this wind. And when it hit, we connected, and I felt like I just got blessed by air. Again, on my motorcycle, about a week later, riding on the same stretch of road, and it starts to rain. Not much, a little bit of a drizzle, but as the water starts hitting me, again, connected, and I felt like I was being blessed by the water, which is a really weird feeling, because generally I hate riding my bike in the rain. I avoid it at all costs, and I just couldn't avoid it this time. It was just kind of came out of nowhere, and I went from really upset that I was about to ride in the rain to, oh my God, this is amazing. And then finally, the same stretch of road, a little further up, it goes down in between two mountains, and I always describe it as it feels like you're being hugged by the earth. Well, for whatever reason, on this particular day, the mountains seemed closer. I mean, obviously they weren't, but they seemed closer, and I had that connection, and I felt like I was completely surrounded by the earth, getting hugged by it almost, and it was getting blessed by earth. So fire, air, water, and earth, blessed by all of it. And you might be asking, well, what about spirit? Shouldn't you be blessed by spirit too? Well, yeah, that happens all the time. That's connecting with the gods. That's the fact that I have my fiance, the love of my life, my soulmate. That's all a blessing from spirit. So yeah, it was interesting. Weird at first, for sure, but once that first one and then the second one happened, I'm like, okay, this must be a thing that's going to happen. I'm just going to let it happen. And that's another thing with connecting. You got to just let it happen. Sometimes it feels weird at first, and you pull back, and if you do that enough, they stop reaching out. Very early on in my journey into this, I read somewhere that if you want to meditate and connect with Odin, as you're sitting down to meditate, you call out to him 3 times. each using 3 of his different names. So Odin, 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 Allfather, 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 Rig, Rig, Rig. There's other names you could use, but call them out 3 times in 3 names, so you get a total of 9, which is the sacred number. And then you meditate. And as you start to meditate and you let go and you let your spiritual self start to expand, Odin will come down, take you. You will fall really deep into meditation very quickly, which can be really scary if you're not used to it. And the reports that I've read, other people who have done this, they kind of, like, Odin comes out, pulls them in, and then they get to speak with Odin, have a conversation with him, meet with him, and then at any point they can just go back. Well, I'm sitting not in this particular forest, but in a forest similar to it. I was out for a hike and I decided to try it. And at the time, I wasn't meditating very often, so falling into a deep meditation was something that I had not experienced before. And I'm sitting there, I start meditating, I call it to Odin, and I start going really deep, really fast, deeper than I had ever been before. And it definitely felt like I was being pulled deeper. And it frightened me. And so I pulled back, and Odin's not going to force it. So if you pull back, he lets you go. So he let me go, I came back. I had this thought of, if I go too deep, nobody knows I'm here. Nobody knows to come look for me. So that was part of the fear, on top of just going deeper than I've ever gone before. And I've honestly been a little afraid to try it again. Of course, now I meditate a couple times a week. I've actually had experiences speaking with the gods during meditations, and I think it's time for me to try that again. In fact, maybe I'll do that this summer. I'll wait for a day where it's a little bit warmer than today, and I'll come to a piece of forest like this. I'll let people know where I am, so they can come look for me if need be. But I'll try that meditation again, and I'll let you guys know how that goes. Speaking of meditations and speaking with the gods, we did a group meditation not too long ago. I do one every Monday night with Crones and Cauldrons on Facebook. Jen Plastini runs it. Great group meditation. She put the videos up, so you don't have to do it live on Monday nights. You could do it whenever, but her guided meditations are fantastic. But we did one 3 weeks ago. So we did a 5-week series connecting with the elements, with the last one being spirit. So it was during that spirit meditation. We go out to this field. So I go to this field that I always go to when I meditate, and there was Freyr, Cernunnos, Skadi, and Loki, and Thor. Freyr, Cernunnos, and Skadi, I've been in their presence before. I've spoken with them before, so I love it. I don't want you to think that I've done it before, it's not a big deal. No, it's a huge deal. The fact that they're willing to take their time to talk to you is a huge deal. But I have done it before, so I was excited, very happy. And then at one point they told me to turn around. I turned around and there's Thor. In fact, this was the Monday before we did the Thor's Hammer ritual at Nature's Touch, and that was amazing. Thor didn't say anything, but the fact that I was in his presence was fantastic. And then as I'm start walking away, Loki appeared, and I had a fantastic conversation with Loki. He's definitely a misunderstood god, troublemaker for sure, but also misunderstood. And can be a lot of help and very beneficial if you choose to work with them. It's not going to be easy by any means, but it could be very beneficial. But yeah, so connecting with the gods, don't do the things to honor them so that when you try to connect, they want to connect with you. Pray to them, give offerings, read up on them, find out what they're known for, and do those things to honor them. And they will want to connect with you. And then you have to find that place, that situation in which you are most able to spiritually let go and expand. And then see if they connect with you. They probably won't do it every time you attempt it. But if you don't try, you'll never find out. And yeah, you just keep going with it. Eventually, they'll connect, and it's a completely different feeling. You'll know it as soon as you feel it. And yeah, it can be life-changing. It really reaffirms their existence. It reaffirms your belief system. It gives you an overwhelming sense of peace and calmness, and can be great for helping you get through anything that you might need to get through. If trouble at work, relationships, anxiety, depression, whatever it is, connecting with the gods can help. So it's a lot of trial and error. Find out what works. My recommendation would be go to the woods, get back into nature, whether it be out on a lake, in a river, up on a mountain, wherever you feel most connected, wherever you feel their presence. And then just kind of open up. In fact, as soon as I'm done recording, the sun's starting to peek up over these trees and shining down on me, and I'm just going to close my eyes for a minute and let go, connect, get that little bit of peace for the morning, and then go about my day and get my exceptionally lengthy list of things to do done. So I hope you found this entertaining and helpful. I wish it could be more helpful, but connecting is a very personal thing, so it's going to be a little different for every person. And whatever God you're connecting with, it's going to feel different when connecting with Odin versus Freya versus Thor versus Loki. It's always going to be, or whatever God you believe in. It's always going to be a little bit different, but it's well worth the effort to do it. So try it. Let me know in the comments or send me a message or whatever. Let me know how it goes. If you need help or some advice, or if you have specific questions, I'm always here. You can always reach out. You can leave a comment or whatnot. Please like us on Facebook and Instagram. It's the Norse Code Podcast on Facebook and on YouTube. Like and subscribe. Skeggy_Vetter at Instagram, and the Norse Code on TikTok, where we do Rune as Runes, where we let my snake pull a rune for you for the week. I did miss one in April because I was traveling, but I'm going to try not to miss one again, at least not for a while. So links for all those will be down in the description. So I hope you give us a follow, and I have some more ideas for things we're going to do, especially now that hiking season's here. Get out into the woods, read the Havamal. And coming up in May, my next episode will be a crafting episode where we're making a shield. I just finished making a shield and recorded the whole process, so we'll go through all that. And then before the month is over, we will do how Thor got his hammer and Loki's mischief that caused Thor to get his hammer, as well as several other gods getting amazing stuff. So stay tuned, look forward for that stuff coming out. The shield video gave me about a week or so. I just got to finish editing that, and that'll be out And until next time, may the gods bless you.